It's the legislature's duty to redistrict. We've done that. We sent a bill to the governor. The governor did not agree to it, and we therefore have the power to override that veto. I ask that each of you show the will of the legislature, override this veto, and allow House Bill 1 to become law. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
All right, we do have a question. Representative Marcel.
Thank you, Representative Stefanski. You know, you talked about Section 2 and what it provides and the laws and the separation of powers. But are you aware that we went all over this state and we asked the people of Louisiana what they thought was best and to put their input in it? Is that accurate? The roadshow.
I was part of it. I remember it well.
Part of the roadshow. So would you say that was just semantics? Why did we include every part of the state, spend taxpayers' dollars, give per diem for folks to go all over the state if we weren't going to take any of the advice of the people of the state?
Was that a question?
Yeah, that's the question.
What is the question?
Why would we do that? Why would we do that as a legislature? You talked about the separation of powers, but you never talked about the people of the state. The people of the state on multiple occasions have said that we should have 2 congressional districts. That is the one that the governor vetoed. Is that accurate? That's
the governor vetoed House Bill 1.
Right, which includes the 2 congressional districts that we believe that we should have as African Americans. Is that accurate? Minority seats.
I don't believe that's what House Bill 1 did.
It doesn't? What does it do?
House Bill 1 was a bill that redistricted Congress in accordance with the will of the legislature.
According with the will of the legislature. Now, you talked about the bills that were heard. We put forth many different maps. Is that accurate?
Representative, what we're here for today is to discuss whether or not this legislature should override a gubernatorial veto. We had 3 weeks in a regular session to debate, discuss, consider many instruments. Okay. I'm not interested in rehashing that.
You're not interested in rehashing it, but what I'm saying is the reason that we should not be overriding the governor's veto because we did not have fair hearings on the other maps, and that's my position. Did you know?
I understand.
All right, there are no more questions on the bill. To the floor on the bill, Representative Plessis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Chairman Stefanski, and members. Just a few very quick points that I'd like to make on this matter. Chairman Stefanski just pointed out that we had 3 weeks during the session where we've hashed this out. We have talked about this ad nauseum. We have done simple math ad nauseum. At 1/3 of 6 is 2. Chairman Stefanski, I appreciate the constitutional lesson and overview regarding the process. But the fact of the matter is that this body continues to disregard simple math. This body continues to disregard the shifting demographics of this state. That there was an increase of 4.4% African Americans from 2010 to 2020. And we all know that there was an undercount of the U.S. Census. And we continue to disregard the fact that House Bill 1 is rife with politics. Yes, Representative Marcel, it does not put the people first. It puts politics first. Because if it put the people first, then we would have a map that has 2 districts for African Americans in this state. It's real simple. It's not complicated. We don't need to have a constitutional argument. But if we do want to have a constitutional argument, the fact of the matter is that House Bill 1 violates the Voting Rights Act. Do we care? Does it matter? I was one of several members during the redistricting session that presented numerous maps, that presented districts that were more compact, that provided less population deviation, and that split fewer parishes. Rep. Furman, Rep. Miguez, St. Martin, Grant. We still have another opportunity to get this right. We don't have to do this. We can still work on maps that get it right. But House Bill 1 doesn't get it right. The last time I came down here, I quoted a former congressman, current senator, our colleague, Senator Fields. I'm going to quote someone who you might not expect today, Congressman Clay Higgins. He recently said publicly that there need not be a divisive veto override battle. There is another path forward, legislatively, for the betterment of Louisiana and all its citizens. Again, we can sit up here and talk about legal principles and Voting Rights Act and percentages and all this other stuff, but for some of you, this might be a hard vote, I get it. But at the end of the day, this is really very simple. This is so simple. And this vote is so much bigger than the people who are sitting in these seats right now. This vote is so much bigger than any future election. This vote is about the future of this state. This vote is about fairness. This vote is about justice. And everybody in this chamber knows right from wrong, and you know what is just. And I'm asking you to do the just thing, do the right thing. Sustain this veto, and let's work on a map that represents this state, because our legacies are on the line. Thank you.
All right, Representative Stefanski to close.
Members, today we've had a lot of conversations as I've discussed. We had a special session to have a lot of debate, a lot of good discussion. The will of the legislature was clear. Today is a conversation about separation of powers. We're the legislative branch. We were tasked with doing redistricting, and specifically Congress in this case. And while all due respect to my colleague and my vice chair of my committee, Representative Duplessis, the Voting Rights Act is federal law. It is not Louisiana Constitution. That's why we're here today. I would ask that you override this veto and act HB 1 into law, and let's move forward with this process for the people of the state of Louisiana.
All right. Those in favor of passing HB 1? All right. 20 members join Representative Jenkins in the lockout. Clerk will open the machine. Vote your machines, members. All right. Obvious. Lockout is obvious. Quorum call, members. Vote your machines. Quorum call. Vote your machines. Do voting. Do voting. All right. Close them up. 103 members in a quorum. All right. Those in favor of passing HB 1 over the veto of the governor will vote yea. Those opposed will vote nay. The clerk will open the machine. Members, vote your machines. Stefanski, yes. Do voting. Do voting. Close them up. 72 yeas, 31 nays, and the veto has been overridden.